It's Hudson's Broyhill Furniture's giant 3-day after Thanksgiving sale. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Hudson's. Shop doorbuster savings.
Now, I'm sure some of you are going, wait a minute. Is it come to that? Do we have to run ads to make things go around here? And the answer is no, not really. But ads and shopping did get a whole lot of attention, didn't they, this last weekend? And what was last Friday? Black Friday. And truthfully, there was a lot of stuff going on.
Long lines and packed parking lots for this Black Friday morning. Shoppers are in a frenzy as they've been trying to take advantage of the sales and discounts being offered.
Once you get out here, it's kind of like shopper therapy.
Well, the truth is, many have gotten crazy for Christmas, haven't they? It becomes all about getting out early and seeing how much buying power I can have so I can put things into my holiday basket. Earlier, we saw some people interviewed in our video view. We're going to kind of go back to a question that we posed to them. Beyond the outer obvious stuff, what other increase would you like for Christmas? Now, our minds, as they did in the video, obviously sort of run to that outer obvious stuff first. And where do we get sort of the impetus for that? Well, a lot of times it's in that Thanksgiving newspaper, you know, the one that comes full of ads. It's this tall when it comes out. You got to be careful, you know, or you couldn't even get your car over it. But it comes to your house. It's got all those ads, all those things in it. And so you start going through and seeing what it is that you might like. Well, I need to tell you, somebody in my family came up with a real good strategy for a little one in my family. What they do is they get the biggest and the fullest flyers, and they give them to this child in our family, and they give them a marker, and they say, okay, circle what you would like for Christmas. Now, you know what happens, don't you? They circle everything in the flyer because they would like to get everything for Christmas. Of course, the person in my family says, you understand that you're not going to get everything, but just kind of let me know the things you want. And they want everything. And we're sort of that way as well, aren't we? But how about if we kind of went with a different strategy this year? What about if we, instead of thinking about the obvious outer things, we started thinking about inner things that maybe we couldn't get from Aunt Bob, or I guess it'd be Aunt Sue, wouldn't it? Uncle Bob. We couldn't get from Santa Claus. Store down the street, let me tell you, it doesn't carry it at all. In other words, what if this year we ask for something from God? Something only God could give us. After all, if you think about it, who started this thing anyway? God did. And so if we start with God, then maybe it's going to turn in a different direction for us. But you know, you're saying, okay, that's true, but what about His catalog? Well, let me tell you what, He does have a catalog of ideas, of things that you could get for Christmas. And it looks something like this. You may recognize it. It's called the Bible. And you know what this is? One of the very first holiday flyers. It's from Isaiah's 9th chapter, verses 6 and 7, and it says this: For unto us a child is born. You see, that's what it's really about, isn't it? A child being born, the child Jesus being born into the world. And to us a son is given. See, there's that giving thing that started to kick in. A son is given to us, a child is given to us. And it says, and the government will be on His shoulders. In other words, you know, this isn't going to be any normal kid. There could be some things really going on. And He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of His government and peace, there will be no end. Now, if you're like me, you're kind of going, government? How did this thing get into that first flyer that God put out concerning Christmas? Well, if you think about a government is something that tries to set the tone for whatever territory that it oversees. Now, if you were to go to Cuba, you'd probably see lots of situations like this. You notice the roads are kind of crumbling, the infrastructure, the buildings aren't real great. But the most unique thing you might notice right away is what? Old cars. They have lots and lots of old cars there because economically they're so strapped it's hard to get a new one, and I'm not sure if the government actually bans them or not, but pretty much everybody just drives old cars there. The territory the government talking about here is the territory of your heart. You see, God can help your heart grow. God can help govern your heart. God can help set boundaries so, that you won't go into some other country or some other area where as soon as you get there, they're going to be firing at you. God can do all sorts of things in the territory of your heart through His Son, Jesus Christ. And He will be called Wonderful Counselor. Would anybody like an increase of the wonderful counsel of God in their life, related to right where you are? Mighty God? Would anybody like an increase of God's might in your life? Or how about Everlasting Father? Would anybody like more sort of lasting power in different areas of their life than they might be enjoying everywhere now? How about Prince of Peace? Anybody not have enough peace in their life besides me? Notice there it says, of the increase of His government and His peace, there will be no end. If you like any of those things on that list right there, remember this is the first flyer on Christmas that God put out. Why don't you ask for them? I mean, think about it. What a novel idea. Ask God for things inside for Christmas that only He could bring, only He could deliver. But the problem we sometimes have with that is we do get disappointed with things in life because we are going, God, you and I, we've tried to get together on things in the past, and it's not always worked, and so I just don't know that I'm going to go there this time. This is the season to lay that down. This is the season to get past that. Because if you've been disappointed before with God, doesn't mean that you need to be disappointed now. You ever had an accident in your car? Does that mean you never drove again? Most of us probably drove home from the accident, didn't we? Well, it's the same way in life. It's the same way with God. We can't set ourselves up for disappointments, especially this time of year, because we're really pretty good at doing that, aren't we?
We have a delivery. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's from my company.
Your bonus.
My bonus.
Open it, Clarky.
Oh, I was gonna wait till tomorrow to tell you all this, but what the heck? With this bonus check, I'm putting in a swimming pool. I've been waiting for this bonus. To make sure the pool goes in as soon as the ground thaws, I had to lay out the money in advance. And until this little miracle arrived, I didn't have enough in my account to cover the check I wrote. If there's enough left over, I'm going to fly you all down here to help us dedicate it.
Oh. Clark, what's wrong? Honey? It's bigger than you expected? Smaller? What is it?
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
You see, because we set ourselves up for so many disappointments, especially during the holiday season, we don't really think about asking God to increase some part of Him in some part of us. It's like He's going to give us His own version of the Jelly of the Month Club. I mean, come on. It's not going to happen. Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, "Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory." You see, that's really our prayer. That's really our request for God. Oh, God, would you increase your territory in my heart? Something that nobody in the world can give you. Only God can give you. And that thing is more of Him in your life.